Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour podcast. We normally do reviews of dank old anime, but I felt like complaining about something different today.
There's so much more going on.
So we're going to do a whole hour of old guys complaining
Ish.
about stuff.
Ish.
Yeah, ish.
We'll see. We'll see where it ends up.
But we're still going to keep doing our reviews. It'll probably be part of this podcast, so we'll just clip it out for YouTube and stuff. But
Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get into the news.
first is the news.
The news. So, just some interesting stuff, new releases, what have you. Right here, first one up, Discotek's got a bunch of new licenses they just announced. Some pretty good ones here. Gunbuster, going to finally get a Blu-ray release over here.
Oh, man, I can't wait to do the review of that. It's one of my classic faves.
I do love Gunbuster. I wish they hadn't have made stylistic choices. I mean, ran out of money at the end. Thanks, Anno. Really
Listen,
good at that.
I want to see Gunbuster with the giant baseball bat
Look,
anime.
I'm surprised at the end of Godzilla 2016 they didn't have like really cheap claymation at the very end because you ran out of money too.
Yeah, it's like one of the only things he's finished legit. Probably because it was like a movie and,
The studios would have probably made him commit seppuku if he didn't. So
Also, not to get off topic. Well, we don't really have a topic, but that movie had probably the least amount of like actual Godzilla stuff. It must have been so cheap to make because it was just people in an office talking about
it
like,
still had way more Godzilla stuff than the 2014 American version, but we won't talk about that.
well, yeah, that's an abomination.
We talk about Godzilla in the future. I got a lot of things to say about Godzilla. Love me some Godzilla.
Always.
Anyway, so Gunbuster, they're actually doing a new dub for it too, which is interesting. I don't really
like,
need it, but
they're into like redubbing stuff lately, and some of those old dub casts were probably better than the modern ones.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, dubs fell off for a while, but maybe they're back. I don't know. I haven't really checked out any of the new ones, so
All my classic boys are like retired. A lot of them.
or Me Too'd out of existence.
Yeah, it's also an issue.
Being good in certain industries now just gets you canceled out of those industries, so other people that are way less talented than you can take your spot.
Get your ass bounced.
That's the real game, folks. Let's see what else we got here. Legendary Armor, Samurai Troopers,
Oh goddamn.
otherwise known as Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, man, classic.
They remastered this one too, Blu-ray. You got all the OVAs, so that's pretty nice. That's coming out this year, so Gunbuster's next year, 2022. Late 2021 is for Samurai Troopers. The live-action Cutie Honey, but that was never really my thing, so I'm not really going to talk about it. A couple Lupin the Third movies. You got the Lupin the Third versus Detective Conan. Never watched it. I'm sure it's decent. I mean, I'm not a Detective Conan fan, but did we? I was drunk. I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember ever
You were
seeing
drunk. I was drunk. But we definitely watched it.
it.
That was like way back.
The next one I remember, freaking Momo, which was really good until it got to the end, and there's a giant brain floating around. And it's a terrible, terrible movie.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. I never. It's one of the more popular Lupin movies too, and I just never.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
That
not
one
my
doesn't
cup
work
of
for me.
tea.
Castle of Cagliostro, it is not. Or the dragon one. That one was fun.
Twilight Gemini. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
That was a good. one.
Robot Carnival in 4K,
Oh, nice.
the original. So that's pretty
Get
cool.
used to that fucking 4K TV I bought.
Heck yeah. And then you got Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos.
Hyper classic GoBot style.
GoBots, yep. All 47 episodes too, which I don't know that we've gotten for. I remember way back in the day when I tried to watch it.
A certain
There was like 26 or something.
They
of them
released
that were
like
out.
one arc.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it
And
wasn't all of them.
It was
That's all
like
I
one
remember.
arc, and they released like I think it was like I don't know, like 4 episodes in the next arc or something, and then they just gave up. I don't know. Maybe they overestimated the popularity of GoBots, but also, who the fuck even remembers GoBots?
And it's got a couple spin-off OVAs with it too, so it's pretty cool. Definitely gonna check that out.
Man, I still have a ton of GoBots kicking around.
Yeah, so that's what Discotek's got going on. I mean, they're always bringing over good stuff. So
Yeah, it's kind of their game.
good to see that's continuing. And as streaming services multiply, and no one really wants to have 12 different freaking streaming services, and as they
those-
start to censor things or remove things and change things.
You almost have to buy stuff now.
You have to start
'cause,
buying
like,
stuff again. Like,
all the stream stuff has been mommed.
it just is what it is. On a streaming note, so, not all streaming is bad. Retro Crush, which is free but ad supported and available on a lot of devices. I haven't really used it yet, but I've seen it. They got Utna. They're adding the series and the movie. For the love of God, watch the movie. Also, for the love of God, don't watch the series. Pretty bad.
For so many reasons.
I know. I'll get in trouble for that because a lot of people really like that series, but I will go to the grave.
I'll go to the mat for that one.
Hate it.
I will fight anyone who wants to try to tell me that that's a
terrible narrative. From what I read about the manga, way better. Like, just it made way more sense. Anyway,
yeah, we
already covered this. I'm not going to do it again.
Well, that's the point. Like, I knew that the manga was good, or not good, but like, at least was normal. And then for some reason, they just
go watch our review of the movie on YouTube if you want to, or Odyssey for that matter, if you want to hear what our thoughts are on the original series because we go off on it.
I have so many.
Nadesco.
Oh man.
And the Gekigengar 3 OVA.
One of my favorite
Prince
classics.
of Darkness, which I really wish they did Prince of Darkness as like a 6-episode OVA or something. It's a little too compressed for no reason.
And it kind of ended it was such a good series.
The series had a decent ending, and then it went like...
It just kind of ended on a sour note. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. I felt it started in a place where it shouldn't have, where like it implied that everything went to shit after the series ended.
Yeah.
Which didn't make a lot of sense. But then by the end of Prince of Darkness, I think everything was okay again, but I don't know. It needs a better sequel.
Necessary.
Because Nadesco is really cool.
You could just
it needs
not
a better
watch
sequel.
it. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Not that I watched Nadesco in 100 years.
It's worth watching once. The movie, I'd watch the series again. I mean, the series is good.
It has one of my favorite overall narratives on just like people can take things two very different ways.
Yes.
One thing, if it's generic enough, could mean a lot of things to a lot of people.
And we also got Tetsujin 28. Looks like it's the newer one. So if you're into that,
I have that out.
I
think I have that DVD somewhere.
Probably.
Or I think I gave it to Stampy. I don't remember.
All right, what else we got here? We got Right Stuff. So they got releases coming out too. They're going to release an HD remaster of Seed Destiny. Yeah. I like Seed Destiny a lot more than you do.
Actually,
it's garbage plot.
I'm taking it back. I never watched Seed Destiny because I hated Seed so much.
So yeah, you never believe me that, and it's 50-something episodes, so I don't blame you. But
I got a job, man.
To me, Seed Destiny is far more entertaining than Seed. It's a mess. And narratively, it's a mess. But at least it's not just a remake of freaking original Gundam like Seed is, right? And Seed is just...
Yeah, except let's make all the characters wicked.
Yeah, an incompetent... It's an incompetent remake. Ugh, whatever.
What's this?
Raul Crusade is still awesome. He's still probably my favorite fake Char, outside of maybe Chronicle and... what's his face? The dude from Turn A. Harry Ord.
Harry Ord, yeah.
I love Harry Ord. Guy's awesome.
Seed had... Who's the fucking Desert Fox?
Yes, he comes back in the second one. He's got a gun hand.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Even though he shouldn't be alive.
The only fucking reason I would even watch
Destiny.
Because
I like the riff on the original series suits, even though the plot isn't really related to
I would
original
be
Gundam.
fine. I just hated Kira so much.
But it's got riffs on all like the UC suits. It's got a fake black tri-stars. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. He was just such a shitty fake Amuro, like,
and that's the only problem with Seed Destiny. Like, it's not. It stops being like there's. I can't remember his damn name. That's bad.
Fuck you.
The main character, because he's not the main character. Because by the end, freaking Kira's the main character again. You're like, oh, really?
Blow my brains
Really,
out.
You had to do this. Ugh. Anyway, like I'm gonna program my freaking mobile suit. And I'm just gonna hit everything. It's fine.
I type harder than everyone. Fuck off.
Oh my god. Anyway, the only good thing about this, in my eyes, like I said, it's entertaining enough, but is it also comes with Stargazer. I'm hoping they release Stargazer separately because I like Stargazer.
Yeah,
Stargazer's got some good mecha porn.
It's pretty dope, yeah.
And a cool story. And it's a contained story. You don't really need to know anything about Seed to watch Stargazer.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why it's good.
That's a good announcement. They're also going to be bringing out the regular version of Irresponsible Captain Tyler in, I think, October, November.
I got to watch that again.
Yeah, I have the collectors when I'll bring it by, but excellent series. We should actually watch it and talk about it because it's
classic,
very good.
It's that guy. It's got that Columbo steez.
The doctor with the giant, like...
yeah, so he has like the magnum of sake.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He drinks out of the giant bowl.
All right, so that's release news here. And some other news. Everybody and their mother is getting butthurt over the BBC, not being able to tell the difference between a Transformer and a Gundam, which, why the hell anyone expects the BBC to know the damn difference, I have no idea.
Does your mom know the difference between a Transformer?
I know,
and
like,
Gundam?
kind of dumb. Like, all the nerd butt rage over it was just so stupid.
Back when I was a nerd in the 90s and 80s, you didn't expect normies to know about anything. No. That was the fucking point. It was your secret shit.
Oh, I'm sorry that these robots with samurai-styled helmets and these giant mecha over here with samurai-styled helmets, should be different. Like, get out of here. Like, I get it. There's less faces, but Optimus Prime's got a faceplate. Oh, he's got a gun in the head.
Oh, there's like this whole series that have like mecha that are piloted that look very much like Transformers.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's all right, and it's fine. The butt hurt just made no sense. It's just like kicked up a hornet's nest over absolutely nothing.
People just like to be mad.
People do just like to be mad.
Well, you have to be mad.
Anyway, I'm not going to say much more about that. It just struck me as so dumb. Got some more Blade Runner coming in the way I never thought you'd ever get Blade Runner. So, after we got 2049 and we got that, what was it, 3 or 4 anime ones they did as like mini prequels.
I only remember one, but there might have been more.
No, there was a couple if I recall.
Oh, I'm sure I saw them. I just don't remember.
They were shorts. They were like
they were.
Oh no, that's right. Only one was animated. That's right. The other ones were live action. Regardless.
Oh, okay. I only remember.
It's been a while. One, yeah. I like 2049. I know some people hate it. I thought it was really good.
I don't know why you would hate it.
I get it. There's some legitimate complaints, but I thought it was really good. Denis Villeneuve can do no wrong in my eyes. So
it was just so pretty to watch.
It was. Regardless, they got an anime coming out, Black Lotus. So you're gonna get some more Blade Runner.
Black Lotus.
Kind of cool. It's gonna be on Crunchy, so if you got Crunchy, watch it, check it out. We'll see if it's any good or not.
Oh, we will.
All right.
I remember the last one was decent.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so my last bit of news here today is once again the anime convention scene is trying to commit seppuku. They apparently don't want anybody there, so they're catering to people that are already vaccinated and think people still need to wear masks everywhere because I don't know, they've been locked in their rooms for too long and are hypochondriacs, and apparently, one, think those masks will save them, and two, don't understand all the other things you're going to catch at the convention anyway that might be more dangerous than the current beer bug of unknown origins, as your boy Critical Drinker would say.
You always get sick after
you're going to get con crud, and most of the time it's going to be stomach based because you're going to use them bathrooms one time, man. It ain't going to be pretty, right? Because you're going to be stuck in that convention center. So this is Anime New York City 2021, requiring proof of vaccination, which they will accept pretty much anything as proof. So that's going to be the easiest, cheesiest thing to get around. So that's just nothing names. But then after they've verified all these vaccinations, they're going to require masks. So
that's just not fun.
And this is in November. Like who's going to want to take part in that? Like and wear masks the whole time? Sure, there's going to be some people that are hypochondriacs, but it's going to drive a lot of people away. Anime Matsuri did good business by not doing any of this stuff, and they're going to do good business again next year by not doing this stuff.
Attendance.
But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy, and maybe all the, masks and hygiene theater conventions will do way better than the ones that they're going to hold without them, and the market will take care of it. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
You remember those first couple of years of what the fuck is that? The one in Philadelphia. It's not an anime convention.
PAX Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged, yeah. They had like this ridiculous metal detector set up, except you could walk right by it, and it was like so sensitive.
They just kept waving people through.
Yeah, it would like catch your belt. It would catch like change in your pocket and shit.
Anybody who knows shit about actual security knows it's the worst idea ever, because if you wanted to do something bad, you bunched up 1,000 people
Yeah,
in
just
one area.
waiting to get through stupid metal detectors.
Waiting to get through security. Like, that's exactly what gets exploited if someone wants to mass kill people.
It was the most
not smart.
fucking absurd
Not
bunch
smart.
of like security theater I've ever
It's
witnessed.
security. It's all
like,
virtue signal, and it does more harm than good. But you can't stop people, man. They're really dumb. They're just really dumb.
People forgot that safety isn't fun.
Well, yeah, and safety. I like Mike Rowe on this one. Safety's not always first.
No.
Safety's not always first.
You know why so many people ride motorcycles? Because they're fucking dangerous.
Yeah, and I get it when
fun.
you're a, when you're worried about liability and such. But people never worry about the other thing. Like, if you're mandating masks and someone, gets freaking bacterial pneumonia and drops dead, or gets heat stroke or something else, you might be liable for that too. So it's not a zero-sum game.
I can't spend like 3 days in a stuffy convention center breathing my own stink ass fucking breath.
I would just go.
And then what are you gonna do when you're eating?
Just go full Plague Doctor cosplay.
Yeah.
And then no one could see whether you got a surgical mask
But
on
I mean,
there or not.
how many motherfuckers are walking around just eating tendies?
I know.
It's kind of.
It doesn't make any sense.
Come on.
Whatever. We're not going to get into the whole beer bug stuff, but I really think they're going to woke themselves to death. I think these conventions are just going to go under because people are not going to want to do it. They're just not going to want to deal with it.
Yeah. I wouldn't bother.
Most people will avoid, save their money, and go to an anime Matsuri or go to one in Florida or somewhere else that isn't doing the virtue signaling garbage.
Man, in February.
Plus, that one's in New York, and right now I don't think anybody really wants to go to New York.
Nah, I know people who live in New York, and
it's a bit of a problem right now.
Shithole right now.
Yeah.
I hope you like trash and homeless people.
Anyway, that's the news for the week. Before we get too off the politics rail here,
No.
And we're going to transition over to some of our 2021 summer season, early season recommends. I'm air quoting early because we're late.
We're always late.
We're probably around episode 4 or 5 of a lot of these. But I've only seen episode 1 of most of them, except for Get a Robo, which I've been keeping up with. So launch into it. Start it up.
Boom. Gaijin recommend for, what is it, summer?
Summer 2021.
Yeah. First one, Get a Robo arc. No one else on Earth is ever going to recommend this.
This is my most solid recommend.
I'm an old robot nerd, and you get so little now. You just got to take. I mean, it's been really good so far.
I've never met a Get a Robo show I didn't like.
It's very true.
Unlike Mazinger, which has had some stumbles, I think. Get a Robo, man. Love me some Get a Robo.
It was good, man.
And plus, this is based on, I believe, the last manga that Ken Ishikawa did.
Yeah, like the last stuff he was working on before he died. So.
Yeah, so it's cool. I like it. It's Get a Robo, man. It's got all the traditional Get a Robo
stuff. It's like
stuff.
Hayato's Kid.
You got the 3, you got your 3 Get machines that combine into different configurations for 3 different robots.
Hayato's still alive, and it's Ryoma's kid.
Back up.
Benkei's kid.
Back up.
But I don't want to back up.
Back up.
I'm rolling.
Yes, the main doctor. There's always a main doctor character in charge. It's Hayato, who was one of the original pilots of the original Get a Robo back in the day. Loosely related. This is loosely related to the original series, but it's in kind of its own continuity
From like the 70s.
And then Ryoma's kid. So Ryoma's one of the other pilots of the original Get a Robo. His kid is one of the pilots in this. And then you got like a half dinosaur Empire kid, which is one of the villains from the first Get a Robo. Was the Dinosaur Empire. So this kid's half dinosaur man, half human.
Classic.
And then there's the weird psychic monk guy. Well, he's like the brother of the psychic monk kid.
Yeah.
From one of the other Ken Ishikawa ones that I don't remember.
It's one of the ones they animated too, I think.
Yeah, and it could be from the one with Getter Dragon, but I don't know. I have not seen some of the newer stuff. Like
I own most of them, but I can't.
I think New Getter, because I saw Shin Getter vs. Neo Getter. I saw New Getter Robo, but I don't know if there's something in between there. I haven't seen it.
It's possible.
Yeah. Regardless, if you like old Super Robot stuff, doesn't matter if you've seen any Getter Robo before.
It doesn't matter. They explained
Watch
everything
it.
at the beginning.
It's fun. It's entertaining. It's classic Super Robot stuff. It's good.
Good stuff. So that's my first.
So
these are in no particular order.
Let me say something here first. Last season it was no struggle to find 4 shows.
Oh, we could have done 8 or 9 shows last time that were all solid.
That all looked good at the beginning, at least, right? Like,
yeah.
As we found out with Joran, which kind of fell apart, that became not a recommend. But early on, there was probably 5, 6, 7, even up to 8 or 9 shows.
If you don't know, I watched the first episode. It's my punishment to watch the first episode of everything, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, and that's loosely everything because some stuff is.
And I will generally
clearly
pick
not
like
gonna
the
be
4 things, even if there aren't 4 things. I'll pick the 4 best.
Yeah,
things.
you're really obsessed with the 4. You get the numerology going on over there.
Get a Robo Arc is number 1 in my heart forever.
Oh yeah,
Whether you like it the best, hey.
that's my solid recommend. I have one more that I have a solid recommend on, but
People shit on 70s robot shows without understanding that it's like literally the cornerstone of modern anime.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. It's like everybody's blind spot. Like every fucking reviewer is just like,
Save it for later. Anyway.
I don't know anything about that. What's a Get a Robo? Okay, number 2. This is like not a solid recommend. Nighthead 2041. It's basically
it's a rip-off Psychopath.
yeah, it's a rip-off Psychopath, but I'm a mad sucker for,
I really like Psychopaths. So
well,
I'm with you.
I'm just it's
The animation, it hurts me a little bit because it's digital and it's
like
not
that.
quite there.
Yeah, it's digital. They didn't. It's better than most, but you still notice it.
It's too purely digital. They don't do enough like non like 3D digital. It's just
yeah. It's a little distracting. I got used to it.
But it's
after
got
one
some
episode.
interesting mysteries going on. It's got some interesting twists on
a cool
on the
idea.
Psychopath formula. So
Yeah, and it's cyberpunk. Like
yeah,
there's not enough of
I'll
that.
take the cyberpunk I can get. Sure.
But it's a cool premise. I mean, I won't get into it too much. It's basically, there was like a third world war, and I guess shit got.
Well, people were getting psychic powers. This is what I got from the first episode, right? So people were starting to wake up to psychic powers, and then they were like dragging them off to like test them, and they dragged them off to the lab.
No, but there was a third world war first.
But the third war was after because the kids.
Oh, yeah,
didn't-
'cause they're there
the
for
kids
the whole
didn't
time.
even know. So
there was a third world.
the two
war.
main character,
Okay, yeah.
well, 2 of like the 4 main characters, I'd say, are
Yes.
like 2 kids that got out of the that institute, and they didn't even realize there was a world war. Like, and they
Yeah.
thought that everybody, there were going to be psychics everywhere, but instead they're in this dystopian cyberpunk hell where like you can't even have fiction books, right? Religion's banned, fiction books are banned, like
Yeah, anything that isn't a proven fact is banned, and you can't even think about it or the fucking.
yeah,
thought
there's
police
thought
come
crimes.
through.
I mean, to me, it seems like they're trying to stamp. This is my complete speculation. They're trying to stamp out psychics by tamping down on the human imagination, making us all dumb. So
Well, yeah,
it doesn't awaken
'cause-
because psychics, they got ridiculous stuff. Really, blowing people up like against walls, and
Yeah,
it's telekinesis. It's some nasty stuff.
it's got all the standard tropes I'm a sucker for. If you can get by the shitty, it's not even that shitty, but if you can stand that kind of animation, I'd give it a watch. Anyway, first episode's good. Number 3 is there's like 50 fucking Izakaya shows this season. It's just literally 90% of this season is just generic,
Every
like
season nowadays.
no, but this one's exceptionally bad.
It
It's
is.
nothing but generic, and I like Izakaya. Like it's
I like a couple Izakaya shows. Sure.
no, but I like the standard trope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the style. But like I don't need every single one to be a generic
Yeah.
cut and paste fucking Izakaya show. So I picked one. I pick one every season that I like the best, and I'm throwing it on here. So how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom is my favorite because I enjoy the like boring nuts and bolts like
I
bureaucracy of
appreciate
running a.
the
It's just a
twist
cool idea
on the premise. Like instead of having to become the best fighter or the best wizard or I don't know, learn how to use your shield, which I love that show by the way, but instead it's papers and paychecks.
Yeah, he has to
Like-
they've basically like the king has run the fucking he's basically bankrupted the kingdom and they can't afford shit and there's a food shortage and blah blah blah. So they summon the hero and they're basically gonna like sell him to another country for like money to like pay off pay off their debts and shit. But he's like going to school to be like a civil servant or whatever. So he's just like, man, I'm bouncing your books. I'm fucking solving the food crisis.
Yep.
I don't know. I just
And
love
his
that
special
shit.
hero power allows him to have like more quills around that like write more
he can, like,
contracts and laws
He can
for him.
basically put his consciousness into other stuff and it's like kind of sentient, and it will just do paperwork.
Yeah,
for
like
him.
he's not remotely controlling it. Like
It's part of his consciousness.
Yeah, it thinks just like he does.
Which is kind of a cool power. I'm pretty sure you could use it for better stuff than doing paperwork.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, I don't know if anybody likes it as much as I do. I was enjoying the crap out of it. I doubt it's probably gonna be 12 episodes. It's probably not gonna go anywhere.
I did not like it as much as you, but
yeah, I didn't think
it has potential. But like it's one of those shows where like if they land it, they stick the landing.
I doubt it's going to get like tons of extra seat. It's probably just going to do 12 episodes. It'll just be one of those like fun, blow off shows.
I never looked into it. It could be a freaking manga with like 42 volumes.
It could be, yeah. I don't know.
Or like 15 light novels.
But anyway, out of all the like crap Izakaya I watched, that was my favorite. And last is the Adotin Deities No Only Piece.
So this is my other strong recommend, just because I really like the crazy art style.
Super stylized. They use a crazy pastel color palette.
That's some hyperviolence.
Super hyperviolence. It's basically
random giant titties.
The basic premise is like demons invade the world, and everybody prays for gods to come and save them. So like these gods are just born out of nothing, and they just look like humans. I mean. But anyway, they like whoop all the demons, and then they like...
And they're ridiculously fast and strong.
Yeah.
And, they're just ridiculously powerful.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z characters.
Well, without the flying, but yes.
Yeah, but same diff. But, fuck my train of thought.
They seal away the demons.
Anyway, there's a bunch of them, and there's like the last one that was born is like still pretty young. It's like a younger, like fucking teenage girl or whatever. And the rest of it are like old guys. But they all the old guys, like, have to sacrifice themselves to seal the demons, like, away, whatever.
It's this
some
pocket dimension.
It's this big metal pentagram thing on top of a mountain.
Yep.
But anyway, so, like, I guess they're just born every so often. And as the new ones are born, like, they left the one, chick, Rin, to just train them. But the world's
been around for like 800 years.
Yeah,
now.
like, and this is set like 800 years after, all the demons were sealed away. So they're all just... like lazy millennials, like all the new ones, and she has to keep training them, but it's hard to train people when it's been peace for 800 years. They don't take it seriously at all. But like demons have been like secretly infiltrating this one country and like making them super fucking evil. But they talk about it later.
But they're not all like it's kind of interesting because they're not all lazy. Like I don't know the girls thing yet, but
that one guy trains.
That one kid is like, yeah, he's into it. Like, he wants to be the strongest, most powerful, the fastest.
But he's still kind of lazy. Because, like, he's still not even nearly
But they're all... The thing is, I think the point was less so about... It was laziness on the one kid's part, but I don't know. He's sinister. He's up to something. It was more about, like...
Because he wears glasses.
When you don't have enough adversity around to make you stronger... You're going to be weaker no matter how hard you train.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a regular military training. Like, if there's not a war on, you're going to slack. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like,
yeah, so it's interesting. You got like a fake America or a fake Germany or who knows, you know what I mean? A fake country.
China.
Yeah, fake China, who knows? That's like, digging up the frozen body of a demon, but it's, it's not dead. And they unleash it, and then the kids got to fight it in the first episode, and they defeat it fairly easily, honestly. Although they get a little messed up along the way, but it's interesting. I just really love the art style, and the color choices. It's kind of weird and pastel at times. Like,
yeah, it's like I don't even know who did it.
Mappa.
I didn't check. Oh, it was Mappa because
Yeah.
it looked like kind of a trigger.
It's always
type
the
thing.
answer. If you don't know, the answer is like always Mappa.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mappa
JC
does
staff.
not usually do super stylized shit like that. I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, no, I dig it. That one.
That's probably, aside from Get a Robo, that's probably my favorite.
Yes,
but I mean,
agreed.
God, it was so hard. There was like everything was generic this season, just like the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
I mean, if somebody out there is watching something, they really feel passionately about it.
Please tell
let us know. And we're not talking about stuff that's ongoing. Like, One Piece still has episodes, as it does all the time. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure they're great. I haven't caught up yet.
I'm not going to waste my time telling you to watch My Hero Academia.
Yeah, exactly, or any of those things. Exactly.
Oh, the second season of I'm Standing on a Million Lives is out.
Yeah,
That's
so we're not talking
good.
about that either, right? Like, this is more about new shows that are standalone in some way.
Yeah.
It's like last season we did Nomad, but that was, even though it was a sequel, it wasn't just like more episodes of the same. It was a kind of self-contained thing. So.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it.
All right.
I usually do my 4. And that brings me to my last thing for this season.
Trigger warning.
what are all the Twitter Puritans going to shit their pants over this season? You know what I'm talking about.
I know. Redo a Healer's not this season. So
yeah,
what's
there's
it gonna be?
one anime.
Shield Hero's not out. Goblin Slayer's
every
Goblin Slayer's
season
coming back. That'll be
that
good.
all the fucking puritanical woke scolds like shit their pants about. So what do you think it's going to be?
I don't even know what the hell's coming out. I mean, judging by the end of the first episode, E10 or whatever is where I would say. But
oh yeah, I already heard squealing about that. Like the one.
Anytime you got no touchy time, you know, you're gonna have problems.
I hate to break it. That definitely got people squealing. But there's a fucking ecchi show. It's old school ecchi. And it's like over the top. And I think everybody's going to shit their pants about that.
Yeah.
Mother of the Goddesses Dormitory. It's basically like I didn't really, I half-ass watched it. Like, I doubt I'll watch it because it's just generic ecchi. And I mean, it's like ridiculous. But it's basically like this 12-year-old boy who gets like adopted by a college girl who lives in a dorm because he's like homeless. And they're all like super big titty like college girls, and he's like the dorm mom, and it's just endless gags of him like falling into crotches and getting like attacked by like
I thought woke scolds like pedophilia.
I thought so too. But then I read the reviews of it and everybody was just like, you know, losing their fucking minds. I'm like, there's no 12-year-old boy on this planet that doesn't want to be like touched up by college girls. I was a 12-year-old boy.
There are 12-year-old boys that don't want to be touched up by college girls, but, you know, they might be into other people.
Well, college boys, whatever. But the scenario stands. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. Actually, the other scenario would actually be funnier, to tell you the truth.
Oh, man. Thirsty gay dudes.
It could be that would devolve. It might be a little too on the nose. Let's not go there.
That would devolve into, like, pandemonium, like, unwatchable.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Anyway, so that's my trigger warning pick. That rape scene at the end of Idaten Heroes.
Yeah.
It's necessary to the story. Like, they're setting that country up to be hyper fucking evil.
Yeah, I only watched first episodes.
If you watch the second episodes, like, basically demons have been infiltrating this country, like, secretly, and they're just trying to take over the world and kill as many. Like, they're not trying to, like, take over the world. They just want to, like, murder and, like, pillage and, like, you know. So, listen, it makes sense.
That scene was less disturbing than, you know, Clockwork Orange. So you know,
that's what I mean.
Fine.
Like, it was very vague and, like, artsy.
Yes. I mean, it got the point across.
But, I mean...
It just came off as kind of weird because it's like, all this other stuff happened all of a sudden. Hey, look, it's rape. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing now.
Exactly. It was odd, but, I mean, I wouldn't get my panties in a fucking... twist over it.
Like you said, I mean, if it's going somewhere and it serves a purpose for the story, then who cares? It's fine.
And that brings me to my next complaint. Not that any of these other... But here's my next complaint. Second complaint of the day.
Probably more than two.
There are fucking... Like, I read reviews from, like, a bunch of different places when stuff first comes out to, you know, just to get an idea of, like, what I'm getting into. And there are people that have been reviewing anime for, like, 20, 25 years. I mean, there's people I've met at conventions that review anime that, like, I've had conversations with, like, 20 fucking years ago, or 15 years ago, whatever.
Yep.
That were, like, all about all ecchi shit back in the day. You know, because that's what everybody got into.
Ecchi was big.
But that's what everybody got into anime for.
Back into, like, I wouldn't say that was everybody, but that was definitely one of the big draws.
No, I mean, not everything, but, like, if you...
Hyperviolence is definitely a big draw,
American
too.
cartoons in the 90s, like 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, they weren't, like, teen-oriented. They were for little kids, you know what I mean? So if you wanted animation that was, like, kind of adult-themed...
There was a couple things, you know, X-Men or whatever, but even that's, like, still
It's not really adult-themed.
It's, like, young teen, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, if you want something that has, like, a, you know, older, like, teen to young adult content, you know what I mean? You had to go to anime, is basically.
Yes, they don't have all the shit you have now. Like, you didn't have Castlevania on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point.
And it wasn't the 70s either, where you had some of that weird shit, like Felix the Cat and, like,
yes,
freaking
awesome.
wizards. You know what I mean?
I watched the shit out of Felix the Cat. I used to
Heavy metal.
Yeah, I used to rent
Not that I was allowed to see any of that.
I used to rent VHS as a Felix the Cat from, like, Silver Screen back in the day.
Yeah. Regardless,
crap out of anyway,
it didn't exist anywhere.
So anyway, all these reviewers that used to love the crap out of that shit back in the day are all of a sudden pearl clutching, like, you know.
It's because they're on Twitter.
Yeah, it's like
they're afraid of getting destroyed, so they have to pretend they hate things that, you know.
It's just absurd.
And well, it's because of why they hate them. If you want to hate them because it's like, oh, great, another ecchi show. I've seen this show 14 more times in the early 2000s.
Yes, that's the only complaint I can ever have with anime is because it's super repetitive sometimes.
Yeah, that's like a decent complaint. If your complaint is, oh no, I can't believe they're doing the stuff. I can't believe there's a 12-year-old boy who fell between that girl's titties and they're so huge. Like, yeah, man, that's what it does. Like, ecchi's not my thing.
Do you remember all the
ecchi always does?
Do you remember all the ultra rapey shit back in the 90s?
Oh God,
like my God,
90s and 2000s, like
yeah, early 2000s.
Early 2000s got especially bad,
particularly bad.
A lot of really shitty.
But I mean,
ecchi
everybody
shows.
just memory holes all this shit. Like, I'm sorry if you like anime, that's what you fucking like. That's what you're here for. You know, own it.
Well, yeah, but there is a line between like the really like bad ecchi shit and like the, you know, the I think is a lot more innocent, like not as perverse, like a lot of super robot shows, right? Like you remember Jeeg.
Oh,
like
super,
there's
yeah.
like a Jeeg, like, you know, you'd have like ridiculous characters with giant tits and, you know, ridiculous proportions, and, you know, the main character would fall into them, but they were all the same age, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
So even if the robot pilot was like 16, it was like, yeah, the chick's 16, whatever. Who cares? Exactly. No one's any age because it's freaking drawings. Like, I don't
That's
care.
my other point. It's fucking fiction.
It's completely fiction.
Like, if you're just gonna like every time a villain does something awful, it's like, yeah, that's the point. They're the fucking antagonist.
Well, and you never hear the same complaints about the hyperviolence, right?
Yeah,
it's just
weird.
So weird. It's like I'm back to the 80s again.
Same show, like a guy's getting his heart blown out through his back, and it's like, oh no, but the like vague rape scene is where
it's another morality panic, right? Like I can watch fucking King Shark rip a man in half
that was metal.
in freaking Suicide Squad, but like, God forbid you saw like a titty, like there would be problems, you know? It's just crazy.
Not one nipple.
It's crazy. Like, what the hell happened?
I don't know.
I mean, it's always been that way. The U.S. has always been kind of that way. Way more prudish about, you know, nudity or sexuality and not giving half a shit about hyperviolence.
It's true. But anyway, I'll wrap up that thought with, if you liked it back in the day, you shouldn't fucking clutch your pearls about it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, the whole reviewing critique field has gone way downhill. Not that it was ever great.
And if you're so
downhill.
jaded from like reviewing anime for the last 20 years, fucking do something
do
different.
something else,
like,
right?
Don't
do
just
something that actually pays you money.
Don't just
to begin
give
with.
everything 2.5 stars because, like, you know, it's anime. Because that's basically what it comes down to.
The way reviewers do shit never made sense to me. It's like, this is trash because I don't know about it. It's like you were saying earlier, and I said save it for now. Like, oh, I don't know about 70s robot shows, and this is a 70s robot style show. I hate it. This is terrible. Like,
every single one.
It's like, no, stop. That's not how you review it. If I had to watch Fruits Basket, right, not my thing at all, I wouldn't review it with like 2 stars. I'd be like, hey, is the narrative coherent? Is the story well written? Are the characters decent? Like, is this doing what it sets out to do? And is it a well-executed example of the genre, right? Even if I hate the genre. Well, that's how I would review it.
You got these big sites like ANN who have like 5 of the same person doing the reviews. Like, wouldn't you want to like break it up? We're like, okay,
that's the other problem.
Okay, we need like resident like 40-year-old white guy to do like
old. 40-year-old white guys aren't allowed anywhere.
I'm allowed to go wherever I want.
We can get but if you want some robot show reviews, man,
there's people who are into that.
You go get like 35-year-old black guy, because man, every convention I see, every one of them's got a Voltron shirt on.
Oh fuck yeah!
I mean, it's a good time.
I've never gotten more hugs in my life.
Hell yeah! So, regardless, it's stupid. It's all stupid. The reviews are just not done well, and I'm not saying you have to do it perfectly. It's just, why can't you just be honest? Like, if you are a fan of super robot stuff, this stuff, watch this. If you're not, avoid it. Hey, great. That's fair enough, right?
But have somebody else to hand it off to.
Yes, they should have.
Don't just have 5
You should have
the
a
same
resident person.
like,
you're not wrong. You should have a resident person or two whose like tastes align with certain genres. They shouldn't all be fans of the same fucking genres, like only slice of life. And this has been a problem this isn't a this year problem. This has been a problem for 20 years, right?
Oh yeah.
It's worse now, I think, because of Twitter, because, you know, you got to have the hive mind, but, you know, it's been a problem, right? Like, slice of life always got like way more cred than it should in my eyes, because I find it boring as fuck. But they'd always highly review all these slice of life
I've
shows.
seen like a handful that were like really good.
There's some very good ones.
But like I can't wade through the bad ones.
But they
to
cut
get to
up.
the
They
good
cut.
ones.
My point is, they cut them a lot of slack.
Oh, insane.
And this is,
slack.
going back to the 2000s, right? Like they cut them a
definitely.
lot of slack. And then, the more bombastic, silly, over the top, ultra violent stuff, you're like, I don't know.
Well,
about
slice of
that."
life 10 years ago was Izakaya of today.
Yes.
Remember when it just took
Everything
over?
was
It
slice of
like,
life.
Everything was slice of life. It was
Yeah.
like fucking 3 high school girls and 3 high school boys having boring adventures. Like, this again.
Yeah.
At least Izakaya has like dungeons and it's got a little more zazz.
Yeah, man. Dungeons.
What's interesting about Izakaya is why can't they go somewhere that's not medieval?
I don't disagree. It seems to be a
It's
problem.
happened, but it's so fucking rare. Like
Yeah,
you almost
It's always fantasy.
It's always the same like generic medieval fantasy setting. Like,
I mean, I guess it's just one
whatever's
of the,
popular.
It's
know
one
what
of the
I mean?
tropes now, right? It
yeah.
just has to be.
It's just funny because there's like literally a dozen of them. In this
But could it be even a little different? Could it be like ancient Greek or
yeah, like there's so
Roman
many more
or
worlds you could tap. Like,
something? I don't know. Like it always does seem to be like
fucking
just medieval
space,
generic
another
medieval fantasy.
planet, another dimension.
Well, it usually is another dimension, but it's the dimension of medieval fantasy.
It's the Dungeons and Dragons dimension
Yeah.
forever. Anyway, so that's why I bitch about that. If you don't want to review anime, fucking get a real job.
Yeah. If you don't want to do your job right, get a different job. All right. Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on to the last topic we have for today, which is a review.
Oh
What
yeah.
dank old thing we're scraping off the bottom of the frickin' refrigerator today?
It's our standard jam. Today is the legendary classic. I don't know if it's a legendary classic.
No, it's a forgotten legendary
It's
classic.
a forgotten classic. Orguss 02.
Yes.
No, it's got a longer name, isn't it? Like something.
Super Dimension Century, Orguss 2.
Yes. Thank you.
So,
It's a super dimensional show.
yeah, so
Does anybody
Orguss,
even know what that is besides me?
right? Like, so there was Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross, which is another one we should do someday because I almost want to watch that again.
If y'all remember Robotech,
Yes.
that's where we're going with this.
Or Macross, right? So that's the first Super Dimension show, is Macross.
Yeah.
And then they had other ones that were themed. They're not in the same universe, but you had Southern Cross, which is about, and this is going off memory, a bunch of freaking derelicts, lazy fucking lazy derelicts that just don't want to do their job and are the worst soldiers ever.
And there's a lot of nude shower scenes.
That was actually the second part of Robotech, so people are more familiar with that.
Yeah. Most Piata.
So that was not a
was
Super Dimension show.
No, they just
It was
jammed
not.
in
That's the
Robotech
third part
anyway.
of Robotech, and I love Most Piata. Stickoo. Excellent show. But
Listen, Mex the
no,
motorcycle.
the other Super Dimension show, I think there's actually a fourth one, but I'm not going to. Dvorak, there's another one that I've never
right.
seen.
I have no idea.
But
It is
Orguss is
forbidden.
one of the other ones, right? And Orguss, it's the series is undone by its shitty ending. It's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's pretty entertaining, but the ending is such a stupid cop out time reset.
Yeah, it's got
bullshit
one of
ending.
those wash, rinse, repeat.
Oh, I hate those endings.
It's
I hate them.
because it wastes a lot of your time.
Wastes a lot of your time. I'm looking at you, Stephen King. Wastes a lot of your time. Thank God I never read all his books. Anyway,
Shut up.
so Orguss
I'm still salty.
Orguss 02 is interesting because it's not quite a direct sequel. Like it
Yeah,
seems
who
like it takes
knows?
place.
Like-
So the thing with Orguss is there was like a bunch of different dimensions they find at the end, and this seems to take place just in one of those dimensions. And much like Robotech, they have like variable fighters. Now they don't look like planes in this one. That nothing is as cool as the original frickin' Valkyries, right? Like
Yeah.
F-14 style, so awesome. So they're kind of weird looking. Like the Orguss itself, it's got the gear walk mode, it's got the robot mode, it's got a flying mode, but it's kind of ugly, right? The robot mode looks cool, but the other modes are really ugly. Flying mode looks dumb.
Yes.
And in this one, they barely bother with that. Very angular robot designs. They kind of just float around, fly all
There's
over
no
the
mode.
place.
They just have like feet thrusters and they blast all over the place.
Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of an interesting concept. It reminds me of although this is before Turn A, but it's got a very Turn A thing going on.
Ah, it does.
Turn A Gundam,
No,
right?
I never thought about it, but yeah.
Where they're digging up. So it seems like the general technology level is like early 1900s, maybe World War One.
It looks like World War One style, but they have like World War Two technology.
A
Plus,
bit in some spots. Like they don't really have like the radio was old technology. They're like, oh, that's ancient stuff they dug up. So they didn't really have radios. So it's strange. It's almost like 1905.
Yeah, like they jammed a bunch of weird
World War
time
One.
periods together.
Regardless, but they're digging up these robots from this war or the mecha from this war like 200 years ago that are, they're super advanced.
Yeah.
They're transforming mecha for Christ's sakes, and some of them even have like laser weapons and stuff.
That thing is ridiculous.
So, you get the main character Lean, who's he's working for a salvage company, and they're
salvaging robots.
Salvaging robots for the Revelia? I think Revelia is the Empire.
Revelia and Zafra, I believe.
Zafran, yeah, is the other one.
Zafran, yeah.
And they're always, oh, they're going to be at war, they're going to be at war, and then they end up at war. Both empires are digging up these robots or these mecha and, fighting each other. So freaking Lean falls in with Manning, who's
such a dick.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant, so he's a soldier, and he does like spy work and some other stuff, but he is. It's interesting.
He's the classic, evil, super, self-interest archetype.
Yes,
he only cares about him. Only cares about making money.
But he does become a bit of a mentor for Lean, which is kind of interesting.
And he always he's never just all out evil, but he's probably the extreme end of that character archetype because he fucks over Lean all the time. Just bye sucker, I'm gonna leave you hanging out over enemy lines.
So before we go too far, the original story and the director is Fumihiko Takayama, which we talked about last week with Sword of the Stranger.
We did.
And animation production on this one was Hiro and JC Staff, one of the earlier JC Staff ones.
Yeah.
And I mean, Japanese animation studios work on everything. Like you got in betweens from Gainax, it's just.
What was this, 93?
Mechanical Design was Studio Nui. Yeah, 93 to 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, 93 to 95. And it's a 6-episode OVA. We're going to talk about the first 3 episodes today, and we'll do the next 3 next week.
Yeah.
Changing up the format a little bit, getting a little more in depth. But anyway, getting back to the story, Lean falls in with Manning. They end up on a plane. They end up crashing in the zone, which seems to be
it's like No Man's Land.
Yeah, it's
it's patrolled by robots
automated,
that automatically kill everything
with automated defenses, and it's probably been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I get the feel it's from the old war, and nobody can shut it off, so it just murders.
Yeah,
everyone.
why they have no technology left, I don't know. It seems like it is. There was a dimensional thing that happened.
Yeah, I would imagine if it's super dimensional.
But anyway, they escape from that. And Lean actually, pilots one of the robots, which looks like the original Orguss.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of them. It's not just one. There's
they have dozens and dozens.
Dozens and dozens, right? It looks like the original Orguss.
Yeah, they've dug up hundreds and hundreds of these things.
Yep. Anyway, he ends up going back to where he's from in Revelia. I can't remember the name of the town, but
who knows?
And he ends up actually joining the army to get his friends from back there out of trouble with an evil banker.
They're in debt with the super evil bank.
So evil.
God damn, they're just.
He interrupts his old boss's funeral because his boss dies on this trip. He gets shot by one of the automated robots. And they're having the funeral for him, and the freaking banker shows up
with goons.
With goons, so evil.
You owe us money.
So he ends up joining the military and hooking up with Manning again to try to.
Yeah, Manning basically is you need to join the military because I need bait to get my ass out of trouble.
That's what he says. Although I don't know, he does some actual good mentoring stuff, but then he's evil. Yeah. Not evil, but just callous and uncaring. It's very strange.
But anyway, Lean ends up joining up because Manning says he can erase his boss's family's debt.
Yeah, when he takes 4 years of advanced pay,
which he actually does.
Yeah.
But, Manning does erase the debt. The bank stops hounding them. So, he's at least that legit, thus far.
Well, that's because they like I said, took out 4 years of advance pay. Probably paid off the bank.
Yeah, but
not Manning. The Lean did.
No, I know. But, Manning could have just fucked him. And, he arranged for him to get the, the money ahead, basically.
So, anyway, he and Manning end up spying. They go to spy on
they head
Zafran.
They head to Zafran because they hear they're like digging up. They have like this giant mine.
And tensions
full
are getting
of
higher, and there's a whole subplot
robots.
with like the royal family of Revelia that are like so obviously evil. Like, you know, the daughters, or no, the wife, the new wife who's way younger is obviously poisoning the king. And
Yeah, she's like fucking the king's, you know. whoever that
oh
guy is.
yeah, like military advisor, whatever that guy is.
because he's like, he's like they're working to like basically take over.
Yep. There's collusion there, and you know she wants to get her kid in because it's the king's kid installed as the king, but then have a regent.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the other kid from the first marriage who's a drooling dumbass who probably is not as dumb as he's letting on.
Nah, because you see, they show a scene where he's always like glassy eyed and drooling, but then like when he's by himself, he's like, you know,
A little more normal.
perfectly normal. So
There's
he's
something going on.
He's
there.
definitely up to something.
Obviously, you know, we both watched this years ago, but it was so long ago I don't remember exactly what happens.
Yeah. No, I remembered something about that, but I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what happened.
So anyway, Manning and Lean are in Zafran, and they, you know, Manning goes to spy on this mine, which is obviously not really a mine. They're digging up Mecca,
Mad robots.
right? And he sees that they've dug up like this ridiculously giant, like the Mecca in this are like, what is 12 meters ish,
Yeah.
Pat labor-ish size,
Basically, yeah.
probably about the same size, right? Like so smaller than a Gundam, maybe about the same size as a Valkyrie, maybe a little smaller than a Valkyrie.
The thing they dig up is like the behemoth from Full
It's
Metal Panic.
huge. Yeah, it's
Just
like
absurdly giant.
200. Yeah, they're about the same size as Full Metal Panic, the regular ones. It's huge. It's like 200 meters. You know, it's like freaking.
Super robot size.
Yeah, it's bigger than the Psycho Gundam would be. It's like the Iron. Oh crap!
It's not Daitarn big.
That's from Zabungle. If it's 200 meters, it would be bigger than Daitarn, but
Was Daitarn 100 meters?
105, something like that.
Oh, where's my super robot chart when I need it?
I know. Regardless,
Jesus.
it's freaking huge, right? Like it's just this enormous thing, and it's got like laser weapons. It's the first thing you see with a laser
It's got
weapon.
a finger laser.
The other ones all had
it just
just
points
solid
at stuff and a laser comes out. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's got a finger that's permanently a laser finger,
It just points at stuff and it evaporates.
which is pretty cool. And they like evaporate half a town and then blame it on the girl. So they're chasing this girl who ran away. Because they need it. So to run the robot, they need these they have these psychics.
Yeah.
They look like monks, and they have 3 or 4 of them, but they burn out. Like one of them just.
They're like
aneurysms
seers.
out.
Like all they really do is like project images.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're basically like human radar.
But you need one to run it because it seems like to run that giant freaking monster of a thing, you would need one of the race. So there's a race of I don't know if they're like elves almost or aliens or whatever. They're
Yeah.
very psychic, and they're from the original Orguss, and they have the antenna coming out,
Yeah.
and they're chasing after this girl because you find out she's one of them. So again, that cross dimension thing, 'cause I don't think that's native to that planet at all.
No.
But
I wouldn't think so.
they're looking for her, but in the interim, they have to use just random chump monks, and
And they burn out.
yeah, and they burn out, so they can't. It's not at full operating capacity, but they're trying to get the girl to do that. And then the girl ends up with Lean because Lean stayed back while Manning's over, trying to scope out the place. And freaking of course, serendipitously, Lean ends up with the girl. She breaks into the room, holds him hostage, and Lean's like, "Well, you can escape with me." As they're going to escape, and the town's getting lit up by the giant freaking 200-meter tall monster, freaking Manning's just like, "Sorry, kid, I can't save you. Good luck." He just
And he
takes
bounces.
off.
So that he's stuck with this amazingly awful woman.
Yeah,
that he
she
has-
is just such
just
a pain in the
such
ass.
a bitch.
You get it. It's actually good writing. You get why she's that
Yeah.
way. But it comes around, and they're escaping. So the whole next episode, this is episode 3 now, they're just escaping, right? It's mostly about Lean, and
It's character building.
I don't remember the girl's name because she only said it once. She wouldn't even tell him her name.
Yeah, for like the first couple, like only the very end of the third episode.
Yeah, she says
would
her
say
name.
so.
And they escape. And it's they're running across the border, and they see the war starts up too. So
Yeah, like the end of the third episode, like the war escalates. Like,
Yeah.
or at the end of the beginning of the third episode, I would say.
Yeah, the
It,
war
really
escalates.
starts to escalate.
And at the very end, you see the titular Orguss 2, like the upgraded Orguss.
Oh
show
yeah,
up
that like
with
crazy,
the old man's in it,
the crazy old like dwarf
and
guy.
it's ridiculously advanced. Like they're shooting at it, and it's just got like energy shields.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
like-
got laser
it's
weapons.
just, like, pinging
it
off
cuts
it.
stuff in half. Like it's ridiculous
Oh yeah, it cuts like 2 of the regular robots in half without even doing
with a
anything. It's just
laser. Like
bzzz.
yeah, it's cool. So the show's really about to pop off. So we'll get into that next week. Anyway, what'd you like so far?
Oh god, everything. That cleaned up Blu-ray looks fucking amazing. That animation, oh my god, it's so nice.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
It's a treat. And it's got like that really detailed, like, mechanical drawing that they did back then.
It reminds me of OVA MS Team a lot.
Yeah.
Just in the animation style
A
and
similar
in the quality.
time frame too,
Yeah, OVA MS Team's a little bit newer. This was 93 to 95. OVA was what, like 95, 96, but
Yeah, it was like 95.
similar time frame. Very, very pretty. Very well animated. And the colors are vibrant. That's the big difference with like some of the late 80s stuff. That early 90s stuff, the colors started to get a lot more vibrant. Like
Oh yeah, it looks so nice.
it
Like
looks
it looks
really
modern almost, except for the
well, it looks way
character
better
designs.
quality than most modern
Oh
stuff.
god, yes.
Because that, hand-drawn animation is so pretty.
That's half the reason I still watch old stuff.
Yeah. I love the silliness of some of their solutions for the mecha. Like, I'm
Yes.
going to lead the charge with this mech, and it's flying through the sky, and there's a guy strapped to one of the shoulders of the mech, standing up, strapped to the mech with a bugle, playing to lead the other mechs into combat.
And they
It's
have
like,
no
what?
technology of their own, so they can't modify these things. So
No.
like if it doesn't have any kind of scope or anything, they like literally strap a guy to the front of it to fuck with like binoculars.
Yes.
To, like,
Yes.
To like fucking search
It's
for
all
things.
very ghetto.
Yeah, it's like so dumb. It's pretty funny though. Good writing. The characters are all good. Like Manning's, he's always one of my favorite characters because it's like, is he a dick? Is he doing like, is he not being a dick? Like,
Is he somehow helping him
secretly?
out?
Like,
I don't
like,
know.
They do a super good job of walking that line. Like,
Yeah, he's an excellent character.
and Lean's like a good, like naive kid character without
But not
being
incompetent
annoying.
and not annoying.
Yeah, he's like a good mechanic.
And he doesn't let people walk all over him.
Yeah, he doesn't take it, because, like, God, that girl, like, when he first gets, like, I don't know, kind of kidnapped by her, like, God, she's such a bitch.
She is so awful at first.
And then he's just like, fuck you, I'm leaving. Like, shoot me if you want, but you're just going to alert the soldiers to, like, where you are. Like, and then she, like, calms down a little bit. And by the end, like, end of the third episode.
Yeah, it's
like,
all good. But
yeah. It's good writing, though. Like, she's
good writing. I love the idea. I love the idea of, like, digging up old technology and using it. I loved it in
one of my
Turn A.
favorite tropes, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Fucking Breakblade. We'll do that one day.
Yeah,
have you even seen that?
For sure. I have not actually watched
It's a
it.
good one. It doesn't really end. It's just kind of a bunch of OVAs.
Aren't they doing more?
Yeah, it's like one of those things that'll like, if I ever have like fucking great grandkids, they'll be like, "Oh, new Caesar Breakblade."
Well, unless it turns into like 5-star stories and it just kind of peters out and never ends.
Man, Nagato's like still alive. I don't know why he's. Like,
I
think he just got bored.
He's probably bored. So yeah, anything else that you really liked about Orguss 02 so far?
I think I hit all the major points. Animation's amazing. Characters are really good. Writing's really good. Pretty much everything.
You know, the other thing I'll say is you don't need any knowledge over the original Orguss.
No,
watch
not
it,
at all.
really at all. You could read a synopsis and maybe it would help you a little bit, but you don't need to see.
I wouldn't have
the
even
original Orguss.
bothered. Doing
It's such a
this if you
side
needed
story.
it.
It doesn't really matter.
Like it really.
It's just one of those things. There's a couple things in there that are, I don't want to say fan service, but like good nods to the original where you'd be like, oh, I recognize that, but you don't need that at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when I saw it the first time, which I've only watched this twice, so this is the second time. The first time I watched it, I hadn't seen Orguss yet because I saw this and then I saw Orguss afterwards.
Yeah, this was just a random pickup.
Because I have the
Like,
DVD
years
of
ago.
this from, God, I probably picked it up in 99, 2000, 2001, something like that. And then Orguss didn't come out till, a few years later over here. I mean, obviously, not in Japan.
Yeah, they brought over all the super dimensional stuff like randomly.
There's that other one. I don't know if it even got made. I got to look it up. I'll figure it
I
out
know
when
it
it
is.
is.
It's not important because nobody cares.
Yeah, fair enough. No one really cares about Orguss. Forgotten gem for sure. Anything you didn't like?
Not so far. I've literally no complaints.
Yeah, I don't.
Thoroughly entertained.
It's well paced. It's well balanced. It's the side stories are going somewhere. They have a point.
No fat. Like it's just bam, bam, bam. Everything has a point.
Yeah, I don't really have any complaints yet either. And I don't remember disliking the ending, so I think this one will pan out. Unlike Orguss, the original.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tune in next week for more complaining and more reviews of crazy old garbage.
Heck yeah.
And we'll see you then.
So, yeah. Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.